Hi, I'm Chris Haigh and this is the Fiddle channel, and today we're going to look at Dixieland Delight. Dixieland Delight was a very successful hit single in 1983 for the band Alabama. It features the fiddle of Jeff Cook, who sadly died last year. He was a multi-instrumentalist and he played just some bits of fiddle in the band. And this was one of the ones where he brought the fiddle out towards the end of the number, and the crowd always went wild. Another similar one, which I also covered, was Gotta Have a Fiddle in the Band, and that had exactly the same thing. If you are playing this song, the chances are that unless you're playing with Alabama, then you're going to be playing fiddle, or you're going to be sitting there with the fiddle all the way through. Rather than just coming in at the end. So I'm going to show you how to play, what you could play on the intro, on the verse, behind the guitar solo, as well as the solo at the end. So it starts off with an acoustic guitar solo with nothing else happening. And it may well be that whoever you're playing this with, they're going to have a different arrangement and might go straight into the verse. But let's play this intro anyway with guitar, and I will suggest a couple of things that you might do over this. So what I was doing there, long notes obviously, and I was trying to find a line which moved smoothly from chord to chord with as little movement as possible. So starting on a B, which is the third of the G, and then we're going to go for a descending line. So an A works as the fifth of the D note, a G works as the minor third of the E minor, and then staying on the G takes you to the fifth of the C major, and then the same again. But this is a C minor, but it's still the same fifth. More interesting, you could do a similar thing but with a little bit of movement in between the chords, like this. And I'll also put some drones in. So that would really fill it out, and those of the audience who weren't Alabama fans would not have walked out by the end of the intro, hopefully. Okay, then we go up to the verse, and I'm going to show you first of all the actual vocal melody of the verse, which may or may not be of any use, but I always think it's great if you understand the melody that's going on so that you can accompany it appropriately. Okay, so I'll just go through with the chords that vocal melody. Okay, so that was based on what the singing was doing, but I was obviously adding a few fiddly bits, such as open string drones, just to fill it out. So for the G, we got a G note under the melody note. There's an A note above the melody note. For the E minor, I would do a E with a B above it. And so on. The main thing to watch out for in this verse and chorus is the C minors, which are slightly unpredictable. And if you find yourself doing that over a C minor, then it's going to sound really bad. So if you're going to do a double stop on the C, then make sure it's either that or something like that. So that's the main thing to watch out for. Now, if you were playing, if someone was singing, then you wouldn't want to play unison like that. So you'd play either backing, or you could do. So what I'm doing there is a double stop for each chord and a little bit of movement at the end of each chord, moving towards the next one. Like that. That kind of thing. I'll just go through that doing a bit of those chops and some of those long lines. Notice I did one more thing there, and that was a bit of shuffling at the point where the drums come in. That'd be quite nice. I was doing the Georgia shuffle, and I do have a video about the Georgia shuffle. It basically puts an accent on all of the down bows. So you have those three alternatives for backing the chop, the long notes with the fills, or a shuffle. Okay, we have a guitar solo, and probably a more kind of rocky backing will be suitable for that. 1, 2, 3, 4. So the first half of that I was just doing a kind of conventional chop, down, up, so down, up and down. The second bit I was showing off doing the modern chopping. Which is great fun, but you've got to be discreet with it. I do have a video all about chopping, which I hope you would find interesting and useful. There's a kind of a link into the fiddle bit at the end, so we got and again, then it's into the fiddle solo, which we will now look at. Now, the solo on this is really pretty similar to the solo in Gotta Have a Fiddle in the Band. It's kind of based on shuffles on each chord. And this one is a mixture of the, actually a mixture of 3 shuffles. So we've got the Nashville Shuffle, like that. We've got some of what you might call the Cajun Shuffle, where you're starting off with a rather than a long note and 2 shorts, you've got 4 eighth notes together. And typically he's got a bit of movement towards the end of each chord, moving into the next one. All of that comes twice. And notice the drone all the way through that D. And then we've got an interesting sort of it's half of a kind of a double shuffle. So we're going. So we got 5 even notes, and then which is like 2/3 of a double shuffle. And I've got a video about the double shuffle or hock and bowing, which you might also find useful. Same thing on the E chord. Ends up with that F, G, A. And to me, the important thing with a solo like this is not to learn the fine details of it. You've got to know the chord sequence, you've got to know how to shuffle, but how you do those individual shuffles, I would say, is pretty much up to you. I guarantee there's not going to be anyone in the audience who is going to know every detail of this solo. And if it's going to take you weeks and weeks to learn that fine detail, then you're wasting your time. What is very useful is to learn what he's doing and be able to apply that to this solo. But for example, you could do that on the first chord. Or you could do the bit, the F sharp minor, you could do that as straight. Can kind of mix the different ideas around, and it doesn't really matter. And incidentally, one other thing is that there are I saw 2 videos of this same song by Alabama where they had different arrangements. One had a shorter solo and a longer intro and various things like that. So whoever you're playing with, make sure that the arrangement that you are learning matches the arrangement that you're actually going to be performing. Okay, I'm going to play through this solo. 1, 2, 3. Just a mention of the kickoff, which I think is very important for this solo. I've just done a video all about kickoffs, which will include this one, but we right down at the heel. This is actually a specific kickoff called the son of a bitch. So do that as hard, as aggressive as you can, and right down here. And really, really short bows. Okay, we have, after the solo, we have another verse, kind of a breakdown where you can stop. There might be another solo just like above, although I think it's a waste of time doing the same solo twice. Chorus and fade. and it's not really done to fade with a live band. So I would suggest something like that as a good ending. If you are in a band that doesn't know how to end, then that should be your suggestion. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this. If you'd like a copy of the sheet music, then do subscribe to the channel, send me an email, and I will send you a PDF. And you look around the Fiddle channel, you'll see there are lots of other country songs and videos all about technique for country fiddle, and you can get PDFs for all of these videos on my Patreon page. Just sign up on Patreon, and at any level you can get all of these PDFs, and it's the Patreon that keeps these videos coming. Thanks for watching, see you again soon.